So, welcome to No Fake Shit.
So much regret and pain.
Welcome to No Fake Shit. I wanted to start this podcast. Let me start this off and say this. This is an introduction to me and let y'all know a little bit about me. I'm going to give y'all a couple of shows and let y'all know about me and let y'all know who I am. First of all, I'm your host, Myin AKA Gusto. This ain't no CB4. Please do not walk up on the streets and talk about, hey, that's CB. No, we're not going there. Don't do that. Please don't. Like I said, I'm going to give y'all an introduction today about what I'm bringing to the table in this podcast game. And what I'm bringing is truth, honesty, and real, raw, and uncut. And I'm going to bring you something that's normally haven't been brought. We're going to talk politics. We're going to get into all of it. But we know politics, when you get into politics, it's going to be, it's going to be a problem. If you got suggestions or anything, just drop them in the comments. Let me know about what you want to see. I'll bring forth it and what to talk about. One thing I'm going to bring about is about the 85%, about prison, reform, all that. We need to sit down and address these things. And not even just that. I'm bringing the entertainment of hip-hop, what's going on with P. Diddy and all of that. I'm going to let y'all know and let y'all stay informed because P. Diddy is in some trouble. I see why he called himself Daddy Love, but we're not going to get into that one. And then there's something else I want. Like I say, I'm going to bring you something. I'm going to bring that wow factor because like Cat Williams did, he brought that wow factor. And that's what I'm going to bring to the table and let y'all see the wow factor. Not even just see, but hear it. Now, what made me want to get into this? Okay, it's a good friend of mine named Brian. Forgive me, partner, I forgot your last name. It's hard for me to say it. I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm going to get it right so I can bring it back to y'all and let y'all know what his last name is. He started up a podcast growing up on death row at 17. And I used to sit in the little meetings when he was getting everything done. And I said, I would like to do that. It was just an idea. But he brought it forth to me and asked, he said, you should do it yourself. I said, I don't know. But then it was my friend Larry, my brother, my comrade. Hey, man, I love you, man. He was talking about doing it. And then my fiancée brought it forth. She was like, why don't y'all two get it together? Bring y'all together. And I was like, I don't know about it. Yeah, let's do this. But things happen to where not seeing eye to eye, trying to get things done, money-wise, all that comes into play. Then it was just like, I'm going to do this myself because me and him fell out a little bit. But you will see him on her as well. And I forgot that. We're going to bring guests too. Almost forgot. We're going to bring some guests to you. We got some good people out here working behind the scenes to bring forth change of guys that has been coming out of incarceration. That's bringing forth change. I'm going to bring them on and we're going to sit down and have a discussion. And one day y'all going to meet my fiancée, the love of my life. And like I said, I'm going to go back some. Things happened to where when I was trying to build, when I got into thinking about doing this, like I say, me and my friend Larry kept falling out. I said, you know what? And God told me, just go and do it yourself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Because I started to see, man, a lot of people in this world do not want to deal with truth. A lot of them like to deal with falsehood. And I seen that a lot. And I'm like, wow. And I said, you know what? Once I seen Cat Williams go on some people, it said, it popped in my head. Let's do this. No fake shit. That's what popped up in my head because it's time to start dealing with the truth, man, and start dealing with these problems that we have, man. We need to honestly address these things and start changing this narrative real fast because it ain't that much time left, as I said in my song. Now, who am I? Like I say, my name is Myin Jackson. I was born in 1978. My parents was James Jackson. My mother was Pamela Cooney. And my dad stepped out when I was like 6 years old. You know, I never really got a chance to even get to know who he was. So when he left, it was not really too much. I heard, "This is your daddy," and I really didn't have no harsh feelings against my father. Okay. And as y'all know, when a father comes absent in the home, somebody has to step up and be that role model, that person that you look to. And the thing that I looked to was the streets. And as I got into the streets, I started realizing this is not me. And back up a minute, let me back some. My mother was the woman, honestly, that gave me, her and my grandmama gave me my grind. I almost forgot about my grandmother. She helped raise me too, Mary Cooney. Rest in peace to both of y'all. What's up, Dad? I still love you. And like I say, once I honestly got into the streets, I started seeing it wasn't me, but it was fun. Running the streets, doing little stuff, and like I say, it was fun. And I almost forgot her. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Go back in my memory for a second. Like I say, my mother had a good job. She was working for GM, General Motors. She had a good job. So me and my brothers, which is Mark Jackson, Brian Jackson, what's up, bro? And me, the youngest, the baby boy. And I used to get spoiled because I was the baby, so they got mad at me. And the thing, like I say, my mother had a good job. But then one day she had a fall at her job. And our life took a dramatical change. See, when my mother fell, nobody understood the pain that she was in. You know, she broke that butt bone. Oh my God, she broke that butt bone. I'm telling you. So she's self-medicating herself. So she turned to crack cocaine. And this is in the early 80s, okay? And our life took a dramatical change. We had one of the biggest houses on the north side, cars, money, everything we wanted, my mother had, and us, like I said. And as I started to grow, my mother crack addiction took a deep turn. And we ended up living with my grandmother. And that's when our house turned into the crack den. When I say a crack den, that's where everybody came and got their smoke and and do their drugs. And that's when I got into the life of, as they say, crime and getting into gangs and running the streets, trying to be something that I'm not. Because it's like I say, I didn't even mention this. And it's some brothers that know. I used to walk down Blaine when I was a little kid, man. Buster Brown's on, suit on, and a Bible in my hand. I could quote any scripture you wanted me to back then. Because why? It was a good woman named Miss Arnold. And a lot of people call her Tina, Christina Arnold. She took me into the realm of, when you really are down and out, this is who you turn to. Turn to God. He'll change it all around. And like I say, when I got to living, I was living with Miss Arnold for now and then, but honestly, it was like probably 87, if I remember. That's when my life took a change, and I was never the same. I wanted to be like my Uncle Cedric Cooney, rest in peace. I love my uncle. I wanted to be a police officer just like him because I didn't know what was behind the scenes, but all I saw was a strong man, brother, doing it like he should. And he just not even doing it. He just teaching me a lot. And not even teaching me, but he gave me an example. This is what a man's supposed to do. But I didn't know what was behind the scenes of that, and I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, as it go, I ended up involved in the streets, selling dope, running with gangs. I knew in my heart I shouldn't have been out there. Because just like I said, I was a good Christian boy, but once they seen, oh my God, it turned crazy, man. And it went, it went, it went so by, it just went crazy so fast, man. And like I say, I'll take y'all, speed y'all up to like when the 90s hit, early 90s, all the way up to 96. Like I say, I know how it feels, man, when you're dealing with depression, man. And it's nothing nice, man. And I can understand. But there's a lot of people that just don't understand, man. When you're dealing with that type of, I'm a child, and I was like probably 11, 12, 13, like dealing with depression because I had to deal with bullying in school from kids because I'm not rocking the latest fashion because my grandma used to take me to the thrift store and I used to didn't want to go with her. And I'm not rocking the latest fashion. I got buddies on and I'm dealing with bullies and all of this. And that's when I started myself, self-medicating. My drug of choice was marijuana. And one other one was I love to drink alcohol to a point to where I'm throwing up. Now, I'm a kid. I am a child, okay? And the adults around me, they're just thinking it's funny. Seeing a child over there drunk, falling over. And ain't nobody trying to tell me or show me a better way, you know? I would get into that. Somebody did, my brother Brian. And we fell out many years for that. I'll get into that later. Like I said, I'm self-medicating myself, trying to avoid going from living a lifestyle where my grandma still gave me everything I wanted, but I was just still dealing with something inside of me. You know, my spirit was not even right. I can't give you the understanding of it. You know, I wasn't missing, like I say, I wasn't too much missing a dad. You know, I just wanted to fit in somewhere. I wasn't missing my dad because I barely knew him, and I didn't even get to meet him until I was 16, and I'll get into that later on. But anyway it go, I got involved in them streets, man, and I wish I say I'm not gonna say I wish I wouldn't have, because honestly, I learned a lot from them guys. I was taught a lot. I was taught a lot to help me, but I didn't realize it. Like, it's like things people say to you, it don't click right then and there, but later on down the road, it's gonna click. And like I say, probably about, we just start from 94. You know what I'm saying? We had one of the biggest dope houses on the north side, living on St. Louis Avenue in Garrison, right by a church. And across the street from it was a school. We selling big dope out this house. And like I say, man, that time right there, I got locked up when I was 16. The first time I got locked up when I was 16, I went to juvenile for a gun charge. And the gun wasn't even mine. The police just planted it on me because the guy, later on, I found out. Well, I ain't find out, I put two and two together. He paid the police, but the police was like, you know what, we're going to give this case to him. That's how they did that. And in 94, my grandmama's house burned down because they set it on fire because they was like, look, they came up in there, tried to rob. I didn't tell y'all about that. They tried to come up in there and rob. They tried to do everything they could to try to make us get from over there because we making money and ain't nobody else making no money. Because one thing about my mama, everybody know about my mama, she ain't no joke when it come to get money, and not even just that. My mama had a way. My mama had a good heart. Still, even her addiction, she still had a good heart, and then she had a way with words, boy. My mama can put some lines on you to make you say, "Whoa." And like I say, in '94, our house burned down. We moved over to the south side. We moved over on Lawrence and Shaw. Do you think we stopped the operation? No. See, my grandmama tried to get 2 apartments. That didn't work because my mama house, and then she ain't giving her money for rent. My grandma paying 2 rents. Like, no, I'm not finna do this. So my mother moved into my grandmama's apartment. Listen, when I tell you, we had that mug rocking. We had it dancing like Puff Daddy. You hear me? We had that mug rocking until an incident that happened, and I'm not gonna speak on it, but sent me to prison. Okay. I spent 25 and a half years in prison. I just got out 2 years ago. And like I said, I'm not gonna speak on the incident, and I'm not gonna give names or nothing like that, but that incident changed my life. And I would talk about my experience next Saturday of prison life and what I've learned. And like I say, I'm giving you an introduction of who I am because I want y'all to understand a little bit about me, not too much. And, you know, I have never honestly had to confront so many things in my life until I went to prison. And like I say, my brother Mark, Lord rest his soul, I miss him so much. I miss my grandmama and I miss my mother. Because these are the people that honestly, when the chips were down, they was there. And like I say, man, we come in with some fire. And I hope y'all ready. You know what I could do? Yeah, I'm finna go ahead and get into that about prison a little bit because we got time here. Yeah, we got enough time. Prison life. Now, when I went to jail, the old city jail down on 14th, listen to me. It was the most filthiest, rat-infested, bug-infested place you could ever go. And they threw me in this cell, and I will never forget the first night. I cried like a baby, and Muzz heard me all on the walk, and they say, "Who is that down there crying?" I hurry up and shut my mouth. I shut up quick. And as I sat there, I'm like, what am I going to do? My life is over. Life is over for me. And I just felt the power to where it's just like, you know, felt the power come on me like it's going to be okay. Turn to me. And I knew who that was. That was God. And I turned to God. And being in that place of city jail, man, I don't think these youngsters ever understand for real what that does to you, and not even just does to you, but honestly, do they understand, like, once you get it put in that cell, in the cell that we went through, and a lot of my brothers that's got out, that was back there in the days of how city jail was, man, that place right there will literally break you down. Don't get me wrong, some people break down, they fight every day. Some people just give in to whatever the case may be. And I'm talking about, man, I done seen like just guys just bust out and just start fighting with each other. And not even just that, I remember one time I got into it with this CO because I was on my way to my church service. And I looked in the electrical box. How crazy is that? I look in the electrical box for what reason? I don't know. And the CO called me and told me I turned the lights off in the whole building and all this. That was a lie. On the whole floor, rather. I said, that's a lie. So he's like, you're not going to your service? I said, yes, I am going to service. I don't care what you talking about. He said, oh, so you going to refuse to go back to your cell? I said, no, I'm going to my service. That's where I'm going. I don't care what you talking about. He said, okay, don't worry about it. So it's like 3 officers came up there. They said, well, listen, we're giving you fair warning, as they do. Go back to your cell. Well, the biggest one, this guy could be about 500 pounds. At that time, I'm like 120 pounds. Picked me up, slammed me on the ground, put his knee in my head. I got a concussion. I started crying like a baby. Hey, man, please, I'll go back my... No, it's too late now. Yeah, I caught a concussion from that. Real bad. And how I knew it was a concussion, because I woke up the next morning, my knees, I couldn't even walk for real. I was, my knees were shaking a little bit. And I'm just like, wow. And experiencing of jail, you have, like, I had fights in there. In city jail, I had a fight. And I have never been the type of guy that honestly go looking for fights. I wasn't trying to look for a fight, but this guy just, I guess he think because of my persona and how I put off, like, I'm the type of guy that like, look, man, just stop, But when you in jail, you can't tell them like, nah, eventually you're gonna have to fight and show people that, look, don't mess with me. You have to, even if you're not a fighter. And that's why I say these kids don't understand, man. That place will, if you let it, will turn you into a straight animal. If you let it. Because this is their survival. Only the strong survive, and that's true. The weak get ate up. And I ain't seen it so many times. Just like my brother Brian said, man, and I'm not trying to be funny nothing, but I don't know what you, like I say, raw and real uncut, man. You look, them white boys coming there pretty, looking like a girl, and you got this guy in there that's facing life and finna go not ever see home again, and he know it. Oh, you through. You through. I'm talking about this starts in jail. And like I say, I'm glad they tore it down, but the unhumane conditions that we were in, I got my hair cut and I kept, because I fell into a depression of not wanting to cut my hair, not wanting to keep myself groomed. I just was so much of a dark space until a guy told me, like, man, you can't let these people see that they breaking you. And I never realized, and I looked, and I'm like, yeah, you can't let them, man. Keep yourself up. So I started keeping my hair cut, but this tell you how inhumane this place was. By me getting my hair cut like every week or every 2 weeks, I ended up getting a scalp infection. And I had to take medicine for it because it was so unhumane. And we're not going to get into it, and a lot of people know, them guards talk to you real crazy in there. Real crazy. It just don't start in the city jail. I'm just giving you the version of the city jail until I get into prison. Man, listen. They treated us, I ain't gonna say worse than animals, but close to it, bro. I seen a man literally, well, yeah, he died of AIDS. I seen this man literally just waste away. His family didn't want him. We kept being on the guards like, man, get this man some help. He's literally in there dying. And the CO's like, we can't do nothing. We can't do nothing. His family don't want him. We came to a point to where we rallied, got him to where he can get released. His family didn't want him, so they just let him die in a cell of AIDS in city jail. It's a sad story. But then his family turned around and want to sue the jail because y'all didn't take care of my loved one. Well, we tried to get them to release him, do something for this man, and his family wasn't. Now all of a sudden you want to sue him. And a lot of my brothers know visiting behind the glass, seeing your family, and you know what else happened behind it. You got your family there, give me a little shot and let me see something. And like I say, man, guards, they talk to us real reckless, See, people didn't understand, like, that's why I remember this one guy. I remember I seen this one guard. He was a, I forgot it. I don't even want to remember. I don't even want to give him no, on this platform, I don't want to give him no spotlight. Because this dude was just straight up an asshole. I'm being honest. This man was a straight asshole. He straight up literally, this guy's already in the hole. So he wants to talk crazy to this man. You know what this man did to him? He threw some shit on him. So this man, he had a jerry curl. He came out there and got doodle all in his jerry curl. I'm gonna kill him. But I ain't gonna tell you what they did to him. They beat the hell out that man. For doing that. They beat the hell out that man. But he got his point across. And we had down there a guard, if you had some beef with somebody, he would literally, because I forgot how many cells was on the wall, but they was bar cells. You lived in there by yourself, but it was bar cells. I forgot how many it was. And the shower was all the way at the end. The shower was just stayed so freaking hot. I couldn't even really take a shower, but I had to take one. It was just so freaking hot. I don't know why they never got it right or whatever, but it was just so hot. That water was just so hot. So anyway, yeah, so he'll pop you in his door and let y'all come out and handle y'all business. I done seen a lot of fights like this, you know what I'm saying? Because it was entertainment to him. He even seen me get into a fight with somebody. I never forget this guy. He because me and him got into it on the 5th floor, and they moved me down because I got into it with the guard. They moved me down to protective custody, so he ended up going to protective custody because they ran him out of there. They wanted to run him out of there. They wanted me to do it. They wanted me to, the guys that I was, because we was all playing spades. Let me take you into it. We was playing spades, and they wanted me to kick something off with them and just swing on them, so basically we can all just jump them and beat the hell out of them. But I couldn't find no reason to do anything to this man. Like, I couldn't get him to get provoked to do anything or say anything. I was messing up my hands and, come on, man, he wouldn't get to saying anything foul to where it'd do that. And then, like I said, I got into it with the guards. So me and him end up on that same walk. Now all of a sudden he want to fight me. Tell me, you try to get me jumped. I didn't. They wanted to. I saved you. But okay, you want to take it out on me because you're thinking I'm the weakest link. So I say, okay, Saturday we're going to handle our business when such and such come back. You know, the one that let us come out here and we're going to handle our business. So I'm doing all that week. It was like probably a Monday. I'm doing push-ups all week. I'm getting myself ready. So the guard come in Saturday, so we tell him what's going on. He popped my door and his door. So I come out that mug, I'm ready to throw these. And what happened? I slipped. And he got up on me. He didn't beat, that's the crazy thing. He didn't honestly do what he's supposed to do. He ain't have no business. He want to wrestle and hold me. I'm like, man, let me go. And he got a couple off, I got a couple off, and we went to our respective corners. And go like that. That's what that. Hey, he don't want to. And that's another thing about me. I'm not gonna sit up here. I love being on the defense, because that's the best. Being on defense, not offense, defense. because defense is gonna control the narrative of how this thing gonna go. But he didn't want to. So I'm like, all right, okay. So it's a thing of they know, okay, I'll fight. So it's a different thing of what kind of trickery can we do to get him. See, my mama taught me, if you think in your mind that you can't beat the hell, you can't win a fight, grab something and knock the hell out of somebody. That's what my mama taught me. So I know I'm facing bigger oppositions. It got into a thing of not being scary or anything like that. I started thinking like, if I really mess somebody up, I'll probably be stuck in here. You know, I don't know, man. I just kept having a glimmer of hope. Something was going to happen. I kept that glimmer of hope. But at the same time, I'm looking at my circumstances like this hope is running thin. And my co-defendant came down there, because I do have a co-defendant. He came down there, they moved me to Jennings. Now, when I tell you about Jennings, because we couldn't be in the same place, and I got moved to Jennings from St. Louis City Jail, the Fed holdover. When I tell you, they got these guys literally underground. In most Fed prisons, they're underground. And when I say they're underground, I'm talking about up under. But you would never think, like, it's so big where they built this up under here, you would be like, oh my God. And once I got there, and it turned into a thing of more filth. More, I'm talking about where you go use the phone at, literally, because they used to give us styrofoam trays to eat, lunch, because they had a deal with somebody in a little town of Jennings. I'm talking about literally where the phone is, there is like caked up food on her from years. I'm talking about just caked up. So you're on the phone, you're probably smelling, oh my God, it was, whew. And I'm talking about literally one cell they had broke because the toilet didn't work. It's just like, it was just nasty. Like I say, and I'm talking, it was just filthy. And as they always say, jail is worse than prison. And I guess you're trying to establish yourself, I guess. But for me, it was the worstest part of my bit, going through jail. Because it's like one of the things of somebody has something to prove. And then back in those days, you had different gangs and where you from, what's your hood. So they find out this your hood. Oh, so look, you better not say such and such out your mouth, because you never know. This probably be this dude enemy and beat the hell out of you, because they'll befriend you and then turn around and beat the hell out of you. You know, I'm talking about, man, the guards. Like I had one, I can speak on it now because the place is closed down and it's 20-something plus years ago. There was one lieutenant, I'm talking about, he used to literally, because I became what they call it, a person that passes out the trays to guys and all that. I forgot what they called it. And I used to pass out the trays. And I used to have this one lieutenant, me and him used to, you don't supposed to smoke in the building, but he'd smoke in the building, and hey, you want to hit this? Or, I hit the cigarettes, me and him talking. He was a cool dude. And I remember this is crazy. This is how messed up this is. Like, one thing I can remember was they had like behind the cells a catwalk. The guards would go back there and smoke. So And like I say, me working, oh, that's what they call it, a Walkman. Yeah. And I was like the Walkman. So I'm sitting up there literally needing a cigarette so bad and all this. I'm talking about I'm literally down behind these in this. It's so nasty. I'm in there trying to grab cigarettes and we smoking this. We smoking. Most people say Bible paper. Yes, we didn't smoke Bible paper. They used to be the toilet paper wrap. They used to be wrapped. My brothers know this. They used to be wrapped up. And we used to smoke out of there. We'd roll it up, smoke a cigarette. I'm talking about, yeah. It. I couldn't believe I did that, you know. And it was just so wow. Like they say, and I'm telling you the truth, you can get any drug you imagine. But back then, I don't know now. You can get any drug you want. And you know, I can say my drug of choice, I kept me some weed. So throughout that process, I stayed freaking high, like trying to numb this. And then I had a partner. He got pills in, volumes. We taking volumes. We sometimes I took a point to where I seen on the well, we ain't got a TV. They got one TV for like 3 different sales. Yeah, they got one TV for 3 different sales. So if this guy don't want to watch this and you don't want to watch what this guy want, you gonna have to. Or y'all gonna have to pick and choose what y'all gonna watch. I don't know, you know. Because we got sales like literally. You can reach out your cell and reach over another cell, like literally. Some guys then got, oh man, urine, like I say, doo-doo. Yeah, it was bad. And like I say, I was watching on TV, so I said, you know what, I want to try this. So I took some volumes, crushed them up, put them in my weed, smoked, and see what that did. Nothing. I wasted them, being stupid. And the thing I started seeing too, coming in to the system, these little 16-year-olds, kids, you know, I'm talking about little bitty kids coming into the system, man, with time. Like they got them around grown men that are facing time. And it's like, wow. Wow. This is where we headed. Then I started really seeing them coming when I got in the joint. I'll get into that later. Well, next episode, next Saturday, tune in. And I'm talking about, you know, the like I say, it was just like every time I turned around, you know, some dudes did it out of boredom, want to fight or kick something off because they bored. They ain't got nothing. They don't give you nothing. They was not giving us nothing to do but just material to read. And that's what got me back into the Bible. I started reading the Bible, start reading books because for real, honestly, like I say, you got a TV for probably like 3 or 4 sales and you got to agree upon this. You come to a point where like, look, man, forget it. And just like I say, dudes doing stuff out of pure boredom because they are bored. They ain't got nothing else to do. They don't have nothing else to do but sit in the cell. And if you was up on the 5th floor, or you probably get in the kitchen, that's the 6th floor. If you was up on the 6th floor where the kitchen was, you had access to move around. You got more privileges. You can watch your own. They gave them little movies to watch and let the guards bring movies in. If you, that's what you call a kitchen worker. You work down in the kitchen to make the food for us. That's a little bit more freedom. That was the 6th floor. If you were on the 5th floor, you had the day room. They let you out because you got a. This is another thing. They had on the 5th floor a 4-man cell. Was an 8-man, but it's a 4-man. And if you was that one guy, because there's a toilet in there, don't be that one guy that get that one back there by the toilet. You better sleep with your head that way. I'm telling you, for real. Because you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, you hearing piss. Or I got to take, don't let that guy here feel like you got to take a shit and we can't get to the day room. Because they going to let you out in the day room all day. You can't get back to that cell. You stuck in the day room. with probably every bit of like four. It was 4 cells if I remember. So that's four, like 16 dudes, and every motherfucker is bored. They done got nothing to do. They ain't got nothing to do. So we gotta find some type of excitement. Something's gotta happen. That's when fights kick in and mugs get into it with guards. That's a losing battle within itself. And they're wondering why right now the justice center's in an uproar. Because you got them guys in there and y'all just got them sitting there doing nothing. What do you think is going to happen? And our generation, we were wild, but this generation here is wild. Because why? They deal with their emotions. We didn't deal with our emotions offhand. I guess it comes from them mainly being raised by women, because most of the men are locked up. So a woman is left raising this child. So what do you think he's going to do if he gets put in a situation like this? He's going to deal with his emotions, and he's bored. Then you go to the court system. They got so many cases. They are bagged up. So they're not really seeing them. They keep on postponing their cases. See, just like I had to go through 2 years. 2 years of waiting for my trial, which I shouldn't have never did, but I did anyway. I had to wait 2 years for my trial. Them was the longest years of my life. Just because you don't have nothing to do until it comes to a point to where, man, I want to get to the joint, give me some real knickknacks, and you hearing stories from the penitentiary of guys that been to the penitentiary, but they coming back on the pills, or some of them coming back to testify, but they're lying. They testifying on their co-defendant. We're not getting into that one right now. We'll get into that later. They're coming back telling you stories of the joint. This is way better than the joint. You get more exercise. You get to go to programs. I get into all of that next Saturday. And it's like, it come to a point where, like I say, people start like, man, hurry up and get me to the joint. Some dudes pleading to 25 years just to get the hell out of there, because there's nothing to do. You just sitting there. Now some dudes that turned around, they used to go to church. It's on the 6th floor in the visiting room. You can go to church on certain days. So guys just start going to church just to get up out of there or get away. And I'm not going to even get into, man, it was an aura about that place. It just put you in it was just straight dark and depressive. I thank God I made it out of it, man, because it was just dark and gloomy. And I didn't mention, man, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not trying to be funny. I seen spirits, evil, good. It was nothing nice. And just like I say, man, guards ain't caring because they want to see some entertainment, because they're not doing nothing. I think my cousin Vanell, even though she did not want to come a CO, but she came a CO just to make sure I was all right, because my grandma was worried about me so much, because I'm the baby boy. So she came down there, and it's just like, that place, man, I can't even, I don't want to even, but I want to back up a second. Like I say, when I got into them, nobody never tell us, man, when I got involved in these streets, nobody told me, you hear stories about dudes going to penitentiary, coming home. You hear the stories of dudes going, back and forth, but they're not really honestly coming back telling us, man, you don't want to go. This is what I seen. None of them was telling us this. And then it goes into, guys use back then, like they put into these movies, use us little kids to do their bidding. When I say do their bidding, is sell their dope, take this over to such and such. Here's this pistol. Go do this to such and such. Like literally, they was using us little kids to do their dirt while they sitting up on top of the kingpins. You want to be down this circle? This what you do. This how I go. And once I got involved in the gang life, I was a Crip, rolling 60 Crip. Nobody didn't tell me we had all these freaking enemies. We got Bloods, we got Six Deuce, we got. Hold on, wait a minute, man. You didn't. This ain't what I signed. What the heck? This ain't what I signed up for. So everywhere we go, we gotta. And I ain't even mention. Hold on. Let me stop for a second. Now, like I say, I jumped up to the north side, but I forgot. How could I forget about the west side? And when I say I was raised up on the west side, well, I'm going to say, yeah, I was raised there. Because I learned a lot from the west. I mention these streets, a lot of people ain't going to like it. You had Wabata, you had Lotus, Co-Brilliant, Theodosia. I almost forgot about Kennedy. See, like they depicted on Gangland, or how that was, like one side like over by Blackstone, Blackstone, where the BODs was at. You had Crips all on that side. On our side, it was red. But honestly, there was 2 Crip sets, right? In the midst of all of these Bloods. So we got shot at, ran, chased, everything you can think of. And I'm talking about I was a kid. Like I say, from like 11, 12, 13, getting shot at. Thankful to God, I done been out there, I ain't been in shootouts and all that. I done seen this, man. And like I say, nobody never told us when they came back from the joint, like, dude, you don't want to go in there. And I think the penitentiary got worse because a lot of them dudes didn't even mention it. It was like, you turn around, like a dude get 10 years, you'll see him in another 2 years. He'd be right back on the street. Man, where you was at? Man, I was locked up. He was locked up, man. What? Yeah, I was locked up, man, but I'm back. It's cool. They back out there. Like, it ain't nothing new. But in the 90s, when it switched, which I'm going to talk about, truth and sentencing, and then Reagan came with that law. What was it? 10 years for every rock. I think that was in 82 or 83. Somebody correct me on that. When they came with these 2 laws, man, it created a freaking vacuum. Dudes that you honestly like, dang, from the hood, like, where is what you call a dead? Nah, man, that dude in the joint. Like, he get 10 years. He coming back in like 9 years, feel like eternity. Like, he's missing. He's gone to November for real. Like Wyclef said, he's gone to November. And like I say, I was raised on the West, man, and I seen a lot, man. Drugs, poverty, and that's what my gang banging ways. And I was never no gang banger because I never tripped off of what color you had on. I didn't care what you was. As long as you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. And a lot of my partners throughout the years hated me for that because I'm like, why would I have something against you just because of a color? I got enough common sense. Like, dude, you ain't tripping off me. I'm not tripping off of you. We can be in the same room, nigga. I don't care. As long as you don't say nothing foul or try to come at me, I don't care. We can sit here. We can be cordial. But a lot of my partners didn't like that because they like, oh, man, you know how this go. No. That's not who I am. So more likely, like I say, I was gang affiliated. I'll say that. I was gang affiliated. And like I say, I learned a lot from the West, man. That's when the days of, you know, just not being a gangbanger. If you get out there and you gotta hustle, you gotta grind. You know, I got my shine from the South. Don't get me wrong. Tiz and Boo, y'all taught me a lot about it, man. Y'all, you gotta step out shining on these people. That's why I'm shining now. You see that? Y'all taught me this. And, but when I was on the West, man, they honestly, like I say, started getting me into the hustle. But like I said, when I got to the South, they really got me into the hustle. But I honestly, when I was out there, man, it was about, man, you don't take nothing from nobody. When you see them, it's like that. Enemies come, it's like that. Don't get me wrong, I done ran from some fights. I ain't no tough guy. I'm not gonna sit up here and say I'm the toughest dude in the world. I done ran from some fights. And that place, the West taught me, man, you gotta stand your ground. It's gonna come a point in time in life, man, you gotta stand your ground. And that's what they taught me. You got to stand your ground. Like I say, dudes that taught me, Bruce, rest in peace, Norman, Storm and Norman, my partner Pooh, Woody, these are guys from out that way, Rico. They straight taught me, man. And I love that them dudes was my friends because they taught me a lot, especially Storm. Like I say, Storm and Norman, he taught me you have to work hard for the things that you want in life. He just didn't tell us this. He showed us. He didn't put dope in our hands. He said, "Here, man, here's a broom or here's a paintbrush. Get up there and start painting. Do something." And he paid us for it. It wasn't much, but we were just happy. And like I say, man, that's why I say the lore of the streets. And I can understand, man, it was so much fun. Kicking it, the women, smoking, the drinking. We just having fun kicking it all day long. Not a care in the world. Like, you make your money, you blow it. Next day, you do it again. This how it go. You get the drink, we blow it. Every day is a Saturday. Every day is a Saturday. Every day is a Saturday. You know? And if I could ever, me and my partner Pooh, we used to be always fighting with each other, and we used to fight each other. We good friends, but we used to just fight each other, you know. And I ain't gonna be like, I knew I couldn't beat him, but I give it the heave ho. And like I say, my mama, we had one of the biggest dope houses. You ever go back to some of them old worlds from the 80s and early 90s, you would see my mom's address. You know, or see my mom, like, literally. We had one of the biggest dope houses over there, too. You know, that's where everybody come. Everybody. And that's why I say I can't say too much about that life because I can understand why kids get so allured into it. Because it's the fast money, the fast pace, the girls that come with it, you know. You what? Ooh. And you making money, and it's just, I can understand why it be so alluring to them. But at the same time, they got to understand what comes with that. Your friends will backstab you. Just like I ain't gonna say, I got a story of not a person backstabbing me, but I got a story, I had to find a story in my brain. Like, literally one day we was walking down Goodfellow right there at Lotus, and me being the smallest guy, cause I used to be the smallest guy. I'm still small. I'm talking about short compared to my homies, and I'm the one like cause it's like a little wall. I'm up against the wall, and it's like probably 6 of us. We kicking it as kids do, walking around the neighborhood, seeing what we can get into, and we see this gang of guys. And I ain't gonna even lie, they bloods. We know what they was. So we look like, oh God, what's finna happen? So they asked us, do we know such and such? But I ain't even knowing. My homies then pushed me out away from the wall, closer to the street. And once they seen me, oh, they said, oh, them dudes some crabs right there. Get them. Oh my God. Listen here. This dude, he had a bag. I'll never forget, a brown paper bag. He pulled out something so big. I stopped. My eyes got so big. I'm like, oh my goodness. And the bullets that were flying, you can hear them through the trees. I even thought I got shot. My partner's like, oh my God, I'm lying like a mug. But I'm talking about bullets flying, like literally, just that fast. And if anybody familiar with that wall, and you had to hit that alley real free. We had to hit that alley so quick, but man, I don't know how, but we made it up out of there. I don't know how we made out in one piece. I look over, see my partner. He done cut and went through this like it's not a gangway, but through this backyard, but it's a garage. You can see him all up against the garage. Like I'm thinking he getting hit or something because the bullets hitting up off that deal, and ain't hitting him once. And not even just that. Like we used to sit up in my partner MP crib, like I got a song about it. Like we used to sit there and watch the Mike Tyson fight because he was the only one on the block that had the cable. So everybody going to, that one guy that's got the cable back then, late 80s, early 90s. It was on one person. We going straight to his house. Or you had that one partner, mama that won't let him have company or let nobody come. Nobody coming in here tonight. No, you little kids to go somewhere else. And we used to be up in his house kicking it, man. As kid, like I say, we ain't nothing but probably at that time I was like 13 years old. We sitting up in his house, we just get toe up, drunk, watching Mike Tyson fight, Def Comedy Jam. Nobody probably remember Def Comedy Jam. We sitting there wasted watching Def Comedy Jam. Sometimes when new movies and just hit HBO or something, we sitting there watching movies. We kicking it. We having fun. And then we used to have cause MP had a lot of little cousins, right? And we used to let them, we'd trick them to ask their mother or ask, cause they Pawpaw, rest in peace, Pawpaw. This is what I called him. I don't know nothing else. This is Pawpaw. You know who he is. And we'd trick his little cousins to tell Pawpaw, let this girl spend the night, man. It had so many girls up in there spending the night, man. We, as kids, man, it was fun, man. It wasn't all bad, it wasn't always bad out west, man. We used to have some fun, man. We wasn't all, gang banged out and all that and tripping with people. Not my partners. We wasn't that type. We wasn't tripping with nobody. It's always once they seen what we had on. In those days, they should see what you had on. You had on the wrong color, blue or red, orange, yellow. You got a problem. You got a straight freaking problem. And that's where ours came from because we stayed in our colors. And we wasn't out there trying to start nothing with nobody. But trouble still found us because what we had on. And in those days, like I say, the late 80s, early 90s, you just couldn't walk around, especially on the West, with certain colors on. You're going to have a problem. Now, everybody's cool with each other. I'm glad they came to that notion that we're not on that level no more because, like I say, you go in certain neighborhoods, you getting jumped or you getting shot, one of the two, back in them days. Muggs was straight serious in St. Louis about that gang banging. They was not playing. But the narrative have changed, and I thank God for that. Because, like I say, you couldn't go in certain neighborhoods, man. Now you go in certain neighborhoods, you're going to have a problem unless you say something crazy to one of these kids. But back then, me, I wasn't, like I told you, I wasn't the type of guy that, I don't care. We can be cordial. We can be sitting in the same room. And the reason why I got into it because this is what my partner's into. So this is what I'm going to be into. But like I say, once I look into it, that's not even me. What am I doing? You know? I will always have mad love for those dudes, man, because they taught me a lot. And like I say, I hooked up with, when I moved, like I say, we got kicked out. I mentioned that we got kicked out of our apartment on the west side because, as like I say, the landlord, he kicked us out because the police kept kicking in our house. Every time they turned around, they kicking in the house. And I'm talking about, man, he kicked us out where we was going to go. We went to the north. And like I say, the north side is totally different than the west. That was a total different experience. Because I guess it's when you start to see, I guess when I started to see gangbanging was going to take a change. But it was still, the element was still there. You can't go into certain neighborhoods. And then it turned from this colors to like, where you from? Well, I'm from such and such. Well, that's a problem. And that's why I say, and then even when you get in jail or all that, these dudes will befriend you and make you believe like, oh, it's cool, man. You from, oh, man, you all right. Next thing you know, they'll flip that script. They turn that light on. When they turn that light on, whoo. And don't be like, I'm glad one of my homeboys was in the wing. Like I say, I'm a Crip. And my homeboy, I don't know what he was. They say blood, this, I don't know. But anyway, I end up on the walk with a whole bunch of bloods, and I'm the only Crip by myself. But lucky I ran into my homeboy. He like, oh, you cool, man. We, you know. But then he switched up on me. See, that's why I say they'll change up on you without even knowing. And that's why I say, and they'll change up on you back then without even knowing the story or anything like that. They don't even care. I mean, you got to go. And if you didn't go, you know what happens. You know how it go. And like I said, I'm going to get into next episode because we're coming to the end. So next episode, I'm going to get into part 2. And part 2 is my journey of prison and my journey of change. And I thank y'all for joining me today. I'm your host, Myin AKA Gusto. No CB. Please do not do that. And I hate that Tyler Perry came out with that movie. Because all I keep hearing was somebody get mad at me. Myin. I'm tired of that crap. It sounds like a siren, but anyway. So, tune in next week for another installment of No Fake Shit. And remember, stay prayed up, man, and let God not man.